tuned into Gila, Nehemia, Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality, and Ascension podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Just want to say a big thank you for all of you who've been following me and any newcomers. I am so happy you're here. And before we begin on this topic of divine union and really surrendering into ritual that serves us, I'm going to go deeper into that topic in a moment. But before we get there, I'd like to take 3 deep breaths with you. So please participate with me and close your eyes as long as you're not driving. I would recommend being in a sacred space, taking a breath. If you have to pause this and do it at another time, please do that. It's just important to be centered and present. So let's take 3 deep breaths from deep in our diaphragm into our upper chakras. And when you breathe, I'd recommend that you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's do that together. So I'm going to start with a prayer. I'm calling in our guides, our angels, God, Source, Universe, our power animals, our Mother Earth and Father Sky to assist us in this transmission, to connect our heart spaces, to connect us into the infinite oneness and the service of the divine, to help us to really see the clarity that we're looking for, if that's something that you're desiring, as well as the full trust, faith, and surrender into our own divinity and the divine. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Gila Nehemia. I am a sacred erotic self-love mentor, poet, and author. I help women primarily and anyone who's interested in letting go of repeated patterns that aren't serving them to create their new story. My focus is on the heart, I'm spiritual heart guide, and writing empowerment coach and divine feminine healer. So first I wanted to just share, this is a podcast / transmission because I include a lot of energies into this, and I take a lot of time to think about this. And I am sorry that I didn't record one last week. It has been quite busy with all these holidays in Israel, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I wanted to share also, I'm going to be putting it in the notes, I had been a part of this global heart dance, and that happened this past weekend. It was on the 18th and 19th of September. Totally amazing. Oh my God, I was blown away by some of these DJs and meditations, and everything was in, all the DJ music was in 432 hertz, and the meditations was 528 hertz. So really healing, sound healing going on there. And I was really like excited about the kind of like this trance music and tribal music that people were sharing, and how, it had all of this like God consciousness, healing of the earth, opening our hearts. That was actually the focus of it. I did a workshop on heart activations through poetic words. All of it's available on YouTube. I'll share with you the link so that you could listen. It was a 24-hour festival, and it's still happening. So even though you may not have been part of the live event, all of those recorded sessions are on YouTube and on their site. And I just felt so blessed to be part of this amazing effort to awaken and to help each other to rise and to really heal and open up into, collaboration, creative collaboration. And I feel like, I actually just knew about it a couple of weeks or maybe 3 weeks before it was going to happen. And I was like, I want to be in this. And I just messaged them, and, and then it all happened really fast. And it was just totally divine. And I was just so, so excited. And even during the festival, I was just really excited to be part of it. I was like promoting it, and, just super, super psyched. And I just wanted to share that enthusiasm with you because, listening to some of these DJs, doing some of the meditations, going into some of the workshops was really powerful for me, and really, exciting to know there are people all over the world. This global piece all over the world, like sharing in this really, and I have to share, I know I said this before, unprecedented historical event of awareness, consciousness, awakening, transformation. And I felt really equal. I felt like we were, no matter where we are, no matter how many followers we have or whatever we're doing, I felt this sense of equality, and I felt this sense of really showing up, you know, and it wasn't about ourselves, it was about the divine. It was about really opening our heart spaces to each other and sharing our creative gifts. And I want to really stress that, because one of the reasons I wanted to come on was yesterday was the full moon. This is recorded on the 21st of September. So whenever you hear this, this is divine. The 20th it was the actual full moon date in Pisces. And then the 22nd is the equinox, which is tomorrow. Autumn equinox for those of you in the northern hemisphere, and spring equinox for those of you in the southern hemisphere. And so first of all, that's just amazing, the correlation of all these events, that the global heart dance was on the weekend, 1819, then you have the full moon, and now you have this equinox. So it's just like, whoa, super amazing, uplifting energies taking us into higher vibrations as we participate, as we step in to our truth, our sovereignty. And what I wanted to share about today is ritual. What kind of, that's part of what I was hearing during the event, in some of the meditations and in some of the workshops, is about ritual. What are we doing that isn't serving us, and what are we doing that is serving us, and how can we like kind of up level our spiritual practices, or how can we step back into them? And I, especially want to say this because, for the full moon, I have a ritual. I always write a release statement. I usually put my crystals out. I burn my release intention, and I really, I focus in on it. I sometimes take full moon baths. I do sacred circles, both online and in person. So I do all of those things. And what I have now included, which I wanted to share with you today, is full moon activations with two of my colleagues and friends, Nitu and Mercedes. I probably shared with you that we did one in September for the full moon in Aquarius, and we have done one again for the full moon in Pisces. And this is going to be a monthly activation of quantum healing and divine downloads, oracle messages, and we will be including sound healing in the next one. So I'm just excited about this, and I have to say that adding this this joint, collaboration into my practice has truly up-leveled me. Like I was actually, I wanted to share, part of this is about overwhelm, like I feel, and it seems like it's kind of like, how does this all connect, right? So I want to first talk about that. So one, there's a lot of trance music happening, and I heard a lot of trance music during the festival, and I was thinking about that, I was just listening to something right now, and it's repetitive. It's repetitive, and it's grounding, and it just helps to really deepen into the truth. There's something about that repetitiveness that's helpful. Sometimes you think repeating something all the time is boring, and it depends. That's what I'm going to say. It depends. Because, doing a ritual every full moon for me is very grounding. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to change it up. I need to change it up. So when I change it up, like maybe listen to a different meditation or do a different kind of, or maybe not do the sacred circle on one time, and I feel like that is super also important. But the fact that I do something every full moon is really grounding for me. And that kind of repetition is important because it helps to stabilize and give security. And it's not about a person giving security, it's about being in the truth that this practice, even though it seems like you've maybe been doing it for years, and if you feel like it's not serving you, take it out, change it up, like do something so that you do feel like it's serving you. Stop it for a while and redo. I'm just inviting you into that space. And what's so exciting about these activations that we're doing is every month we're going to be doing this on a different topic. And this particular on Pisces is really important because we're talking about watery Pisces. And when I was reading about Pisces, well, first of all, it's the last zodiac sign in astrology, and it's there are two fishes in that are kind of going in opposing directions. At least that's what I read, and I feel like that. I feel like it feels like it's opposing, but you're actually moving into union. And our focus is on inner union, divine union, and union with your divine partner. That's the focus of this particular activation. And we send in, we bring in oracle messages and we bring in healing. And Nitu has been trained in a variety of healing modalities. A bit about me, and Mercedes, she's a necromancer. She connects into the world of magic, and you'll read more about her. And she has a divination course, and she really connects into lunar energy. She's interested in astrology. So I mean, we just come from a variety of different backgrounds, and I feel like that's what makes this activation so powerful. And I also want to talk about overwhelm because I was actually feeling overwhelmed, like setting up the activation and working on this, and and feeling like I wasn't doing enough in all the other places. And I have to say that it was an important process for me to do that because I was listening, because I was setting up the audio, so I was doing a lot of technical stuff, and I kept listening to it. And that would actually help me to up level. It really helped me to like ground my energy in and really, connect into the truth and the honesty of who I am, especially with myself, with the divine, and with my divine partner, because I feel like communication, both with myself, the divine, and my partner, and in any relationship is super important because in actuality, every person that and every being that we connect with is a representation of source energy. It's symbolically you're working through source energy all the time. To say that only lighting the candle and putting sage and like meditating is your divine practice, in actuality everything that you do is divine. As you allow the divinity to flow through you, every interaction is divine. Whether it be, wherever it is on the spectrum, we're not going to just say positive or negative, but wherever it is on the spectrum, it's all divine as long as you use that lens, so it depends on the lens and the perspective that you're using. And I also didn't share because I want to also talk about ritual. So, I told you in the last podcast on inner union that I observed Rosh Hashanah, and then there was also Yom Kippur, and now it's Sukkot. So, and I did do the fasting, and I do these things again. I want to talk about this in the context of I don't do them because they are the religious holidays and I have to observe them, because I don't really observe all religious holidays. What I do is I really decide, is it serving me? Is this something that I want to do? I really think about it. I'm very conscious about my actions, and I feel like it is serving me. It does help me to detox. It helps me to clear my body, especially fasting, and it's something I've been wanting to do on a monthly basis, whether it's a 25-hour fast or I'm just like a liquid, a detox once a month, or maybe even for a longer period. I feel like it helps me to change my diet, change my patterns, And it gives me some ability to decide how I want to feel and what I want to do to feel better. So I think that, when we can take, sometimes I know that I've been like the rebel. I'm like, I'm not doing this. This represents blah, blah, and I'm not going to do it because it represents this, and I'm like, wait a second. There are these things for a reason, and rituals are super, super important. Like I can't talk enough about ritual, because ritual really helps to, one, bring community together, to, as I said earlier, ground us into like our earthly human presence, our earthly human body, and it connects us to the divine, depending on what that ritual is. It's like if you drink coffee every day and you sit in silence, that is a form of ritual. And you can utilize that ritual as a form of like, okay, I'm clearing my mind now, I'm drinking this coffee, I'm being in a meditative state. And and as you step into that kind of consciousness, that this is a ritual, and you give it that time and that presence, then it can actually help to shift you. Like I used to, there's some people that have patterns, and I used to not like this, right? But some people have patterns, they're like, I'm not doing this, and I'm just like, this is the way I do things. I'm actually not that kind of person. I am into ritual, and I don't want to say that I accommodate everybody. I don't, but I do have flexibility about me, and that's not about helping another. It's just about like I just flow, and that's always how I've been, and that really helps me as well to like to just be present, because sometimes I feel like and even if something isn't serving me, I'll definitely do it my own way. Um, that's just my own take on things and my own personal feeling. But I wanted to go back into ritual and how important that is in your life. And I used to always search for, in the past, like, how do I ground my lunar energies? And as I said earlier, like, when we do the things that we need to do, and we follow a certain ritual, it really helps. Like, I remember a client of mine, she loved to take new baths on the new and full moon, and like that's her thing, and that was like really good for her. It really helps her, because also, the moon is all about aquatic energy, especially in this Pisces moon. It's very much, watery Pisces, right? Emotional Pisces, the fish, it's like, yeah, get into water, go near water, be connected into your own emotions, communicate your emotions, and if you're like kind of, your emotions are kind of all over the place, or you're feeling upset, um, just take a moment to like just be with yourself. Or I would recommend listening to our activation, accessing our and downloading our activation, to really feel into how you can feel that divine, safe presence within you, that inner union, the connection to God, and the connection to your divine partner for a higher purpose, for your own mission. Because that's what I feel like these relationships are all about. And I know I don't talk about them that much, though I wanted to say a few words right now, is that I really believe in divine partnerships, and however that is for you, whatever that definition is for you, and I'm not going to define it for you. But what I do want to say is, sacred partnership, sacred sexuality, the more that we have this consciousness and this awareness that this union between two people, or between, however you want to call that, between people is holy, really grounding that holy marriage, that hieros gamos, with God, it just really shifts the perspective. And again, as I talked about, every connection we have has a holiness to it. And when we can see it in that term, that every being, going back to the global heart dance, when we connect to the love within another and see their holiness, even if they don't see it themselves, when we can see that, it really shifts our perspective, and it's no longer about our ego mind. It's no longer about what we can get. It's about what we can serve for humanity through our creativity. How can we connect into our heart space, into our creative life force energy, which is what I feel sacred sexuality is all about, connecting our life force energies together to create something that wasn't created before. And that's why I feel the activation that we did, Need to, Mercedes, and I, and that we're going to be doing every month was so powerful because we connected our creative life force energies together into this activation. And so that's what was like blowing my mind. Even every time I listen to it and I listen to it again and again, I'm like, okay, for one, technical reasons, and all those other things. But again, I go into that space of meditation and I really, connect and I'm present and I'm like, whoa, this is incredible. And other people are doing this too. So I feel like conscious collaboration, conscious creativity is like, it's the, it's the, it's the source right now. It's the source to infinite intelligence, because we're no longer asked to go on our separate paths. We're asked to co-create together with the divine. So we use our sacredness, we use our divinity to connect into each other, however that is. And that's a conscious decision. It's a conscious decision to heal from trauma. It's a conscious decision to walk the sacred journey. And it's a conscious decision to collaborate, to co-create with each other, to help and serve ourselves and humanity and Mother Earth in this healing process. And I can't emphasize that enough. Like, it really helped to take out the overwhelm for me, helped me to be more present with myself. It helped me to share honestly, with my colleagues, my friends, my family, my partner, like what's going on, and I finally was like, yes, this is it. This is what's going to help me to feel into this new path, this new beginning, because this is another demarcation of stepping into the new earth, and stepping into the new earth with both feet forward, not one in, and what I'm talking about, this is fifth dimension. I'm not talking about that specifically. I'm specifically saying that if you are desiring a new type of life, a new type of reality, there's some work that needs to be done for you to step into that and to accept your own divinity, accept your creative life force energy, accept that you're here for a purpose beyond you could possibly imagine, and allowing yourself to surrender into that. When we talk about shadow work, we're talking about going into those dark spaces that are uncomfortable and not just focusing on the positive light, but really opening up into wholeness and sovereignty. And when we open up into that and allow ourselves to see all opportunities available to us, to step deeper into our power, to have everything that we want, for actually permitting ourselves to have this love. For those of you who are interested in divine union, or even before that, the union within, right? To have this union, this love within yourself, as I said in my earlier transmission podcast on inner union. So this is taking it to the next step of like, okay, I'm stepping into this balance, and I know it's an ongoing process. It's not just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing. That's why the ritual is important. It's an ongoing practice. That's why I come on weekly, and and I know I skipped last week, but I come on weekly, and this is important, to just share that I skipped last week, and that's okay. Sometimes we don't do a practice, and then we start to, all of these negative messages come up like, oh my God, I didn't do it, blah, 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 blah. And what if you just said, okay, that's just where it is. I'm getting back on track, on my track, whatever that track is, right? It's like a track. I don't know if any of you remember, like records and 8-track tapes, like it's a track. Music is, they have a track, right? It's timed. it's like, so how do we fit it into our schedule? Even though we're timeless, and even though there isn't really a concept of time, in order for us to do the things that we need to do in our day, we do have things that we do at a certain time. It doesn't have to be like 8 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't have to be with a number. It can be. It can be when the sun rises, when I have this feeling in the morning, when I have connecting to my intuition. Like, it's however you define it. And that's your own consciousness about it. And whatever resistance you're having, recognize it, accept that resistance, and go into it. And that's what we do with this healing activation. We help you. We're here to assist you into your God consciousness, into your divinity, into your divine union with yourself, God, and with another or others. Really stepping into that now, collapsing out old timelines, collapsing out archetypes, using variety of healing modalities that we've been trained in to assist you in this process. And I feel so honored to be serving you in this way with my colleagues. I feel like this is a breakthrough energy, and it's breaking through my own patterns. That's why I'm saying it. So I really feel that deep in my heart. I'm sure you can feel that, because when I feel it, I know I transmit that. And I know I can feel other people's heart energy, like I felt during the dance festival. Like, I was like, wow, I'm so excited to be connecting to these people that I've desired to be connecting to for so long, and not just in my community, not just, on my friends online, but a worldwide connection that can happen at any time, because I'm divinely connected into the infinite oneness, and I'm looking to up level. I'm looking to stay in that higher vibration and continue to raise my own vibration. And how can I raise my vibration as I'm raising the vibration of others at the same time? So that's what's so powerful about this. And as you're looking to balance, this is the other thing about how amazing this is all coming together, because this Pisces full moon and then the equinox right next to it is really asking us to balance. We can have, people are like, no, I work in these, I have these extremes. I work a lot and then I get tired and then I work a lot again, and if that works for you, okay. It doesn't work for me. I need balance. I need to have my sleep time, and there are times when sometimes I don't, but I need to be able to feel this stability, this security, this love. And that comes from within. That doesn't come from another. For those of you who are looking for that special relationship that's going to change your life, start with yourself. Start with God. And then it's going to happen in another person or persons, however you decide to live your life. And I feel that really, really deeply. And if you're not clear how your divine partnership will unfold, or how to balance within and without, I would definitely recommend this activation. This activation is all about that. And I'm saying this because it helped me to shift. It helped each of us in our collaboration to shift. So, shifting in our own lives, because we are serving God, and God is coming through us. And it's always coming through us, right? But how do we share that? How do we serve each other in that? So the details about this activation will be below, wherever you're listening to this, in the details, also for the global heart dance, and my workshop is in there. So I'll have a special link just to my workshop, heart activations through poetic words. And I wanted to share this big news as well. I opened up a store, and all of my it's not all of my stuff is there yet, but most of my stuff is there. And my book, this activation that I just talked about, quantum healing. I'm also doing a tech therapy course, my courses. So I would recommend you look at that. And I'm just super excited. And all of that, again, was all divine. I had some challenges with some of the social media stuff, and like, it just all worked out. I just trusted and surrendered. So that's part of this, and those of us who are like in the news, thinking about what's going on in Afghanistan with the women and how we can come into our own power. My recommendation is to come into your power. Step into your own power and divinity. And that's how we serve, and that's how we help the people that are needing our assistance, by stepping into our own power. We can't actually share the steps of what to do until we do it ourselves. And that's what I'm here to share. That's why ritual is important. Because when we do these rituals and just really commit to our own inner work, then we can say confidently that we can help another using our techniques and mold them to theirs, what works for them. And that's truly been my path of experience. Because until we do it ourselves, we can't do it for another. We can't just protest for something that we haven't taken the time to internalize ourselves. And so that's why this activation really helped me just to step into, okay, what is it I'm needing to do, and how does this part of this ritual for the full moon every month, how is it going to serve me? I had to ask myself that question. It wasn't just about, okay, let's get together and do this because I don't know. It felt like right. We were both divine. We were all divinely guided to do this. Though the other part of that is that it's helping me. It's serving me for my own development. And I think that that's also powerful, because I feel like I was trained to be like, you serve others and then you neglect yourself. But that's not the case. The case is always, how do I serve others and help myself in the process? It's a joint mission. Together we rise. We rise together, interdependently. So that's why divine unions are so important, because we're shifting the planet, we're shifting behaviors, we're shifting the way we think and the way we love and the way we open our hearts and the way we serve God. So if you feel like that is part of your own mission and you are interested in that, or you're striving towards that, I definitely recommend this activation, because that's what we are doing. Nitu, Mercedes, and I are doing together, and we're going to be doing on a monthly basis. We hope to be creating more tools for you. So if this is resonating, definitely click on that link and access that activation. And it is there. The link will take you to a website, and you will be able to send your payment. It's $44, and then you'll be able to download and access that at any time. And then you'll be on our list for the future activations, so you'll get them, before I share these with the public. And you will also be able to listen to it on your own time, because these things, as I was listening to it all the time, like, things were changing for me. So it's going to take you into a different space. And then we're going to have some more offerings in the future. So I definitely recommend, if this is resonating with you, to take a listen, and to really invest in yourself, to shift and change and see what kind of conscious collaborations open up for you, what kind of creativity, creative life force energy opens up for you, and share that with us, because we're here to help you. And in the email, when you purchase the activation, you're going to get some more information about each of us, how you can connect with us individually as well. So we're here to serve. We're here to help you and each other and ourselves to move into higher states of consciousness and higher vibrations, and to higher service to the divine, connecting into our own higher selves. So as we move and shift, as you've seen, if those of you who've been following me for a while, you've seen I've shifted a lot. And it's just shifting more into service, shifting more into, my own pleasure, shifting more into love. Because at the end of the day, it's all about love. It's all about, how can I love myself and others more fully, with my wholeness, with all of myself, with all of my challenges. How can I show up with that vulnerably? And that's what I feel like divine love is all about. and with ourselves first and foremost, and then with God and with another. It's like really becoming so vulnerable and clear and knowing that we are protected and safe and loved by ourselves. You know, that's and the divine, like it's always being held and grounded, and that's what ritual helps me with. We're now in the holiday of Sukkot, and I want to share this with you because I looked this up and I shared this with my email list. So you know, Sukkot is all about you know, the Israelites were in Egypt and they were being protected by the divine. They were outside, and we do this. We have like a, I don't actually do it, but many people have like a sukkah. So they build like four pillars and with a covering of foliage on the top. So you can still see the sun and the moon. You still know that you're connected into in the on the earth, and you eat outside. So that's the mitzvah. That's the blessing, and the miracle was that you were always protected by God. And I feel like that's an important statement to share because I do feel that way. I do feel like it's not just during Sukkot; it's during every moment of our lives. You're protected by divine energies always, and whatever that means to you, source, universe, we are always protected. And this activation really grounds that energy in. So I'd recommend that you download it and you connect with us. If you have any questions, you know, I always put my email here, so connect with me personally. And I'm just so excited for this new beginning and this equinox of balance. You know, dark and light energies is about the equinox, and that's what this is all about, balancing our energies and knowing that we can live in alignment, in centeredness, in balance. This is not just on the equinox, it's a reminder. Rituals are also a reminder that this can be your life. And it doesn't have to be these sequestered moments, it can be your life. And how do we move into that space? And that's what we do with this activation to help you to move into that space. So I'm so glad that you're listening in, that I was able to connect with you in this transmission. And I'm just so excited to be on this journey with you. And I want to close the space now. So let's breathe all of this amazing energy in. We'll take 3 deep breaths. I want to thank God, universe, angels, our guides, our ancestors, the power animals for this amazing transmission, for these amazing energies. I want to send you healing energy, love, and blessings on this full moon in Pisces, emotional heart opening, and this beautiful equinox to open up into all that is, to open up into divine balance of inner union, outer union, divine union, and union with others on your sacred journey that really resonate in your life and in your purpose and in your mission. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste, Om Shanti, Shalom.